Hello guys, today we're going to start with the Ghost Guide in Ghostbuster Spirits Unleashed. First of all, let's go with the win condition. Your main goal is to get the building's haunt up to 100%, but how do you do this? Well, each room has an individual haunt level that increases the building's overall haunt. When they reach 100%, it's important to note that not all rooms grant equal haunt. It depends on the size. You add haunt by A. Simply existing in a room. You seem to add about 1% haunt every 1.5 seconds you're in the room. B. Haunting items. If you look at an object, you may possess it or you may haunt it. This makes the item move on its own and increases the haunt passively on the room that it's on. C. Scaring civilians. You may see some random people walking around on the map, possess an object, press Q or your necessary button to get their attention. And when they have an exclamation mark on them, press M1 or your scare button, aiming directly at them. This will quickly fill their fear meter. If you get a critical or red icon, they will leave the building, knocking over any Ghostbusters in their path. This adds 10% progression to the room that you're in and 5% to the total building haunt. And finally, D. Leaving a rift exposed. Your rifts or respawn points are hidden by default, but you can extract them and place them in the area. This adds the same amount of haunt as if a ghost is being there. You can also detonate the rift in order to add a very large percentage to the haunt of the room. I think it's around 25%. An important thing to note is that even if you have a bunch of items or even your rift in a room, the haunt won't build up unless you're there or your minions are there. Your minions, if you are on a computer, are the E key on your keyboard. The amount of haunt a room gives is dependent on the size of it. Alright, let's get on to the stats. There are 5 types of ghosts. Number 1, the most basic, but also one of the better ones. The first ghost class is the only one with 4 variants, instead of the normal 3. The ghosts are Winky, Pokey, Brainy, and the funniest ghost in the game, totally not biased, Slimer, the lovable and recognizable ghost of the franchise. Their special attributes are extra slime per hit, slime on busters slow more, sliming busters down is more effective. Their downsides are reduced object and trap damage and slower interaction speed. Basically, that means that you can destroy traps slower, so you deal less damage to objects, and you interact with a few things a little slower. I think that would be the pack sabotage. Secondly, we have the second ghost class, Ghoulie. The variants are Drake, Infernal, and Wraith. Their special attributes are shorter scare cooldown, increased possess transfer, object distance, increased fear damage on civilians getting calmed. Their downsides are shorter scare distance and harder tether escapes. The third class is the Basher. The variants are Lunk, Squiddler, and Basher. Their special attributes are scare destroyed objects burst with PK, scares/slimes nearby victims, slower to tether, shorter stun duration, increased object and trap damage, more powerful buster knockbacks, and their downsides are slower rift detonation and tougher trap minigame. The fourth class is the Howler. The variants are Shriek, Chomp, and Bramble. Their special attributes are longer spawned minion lifespan, more minion health, increased scare distance, haunted objects make sporadic decoy audio noises, and their downsides are a tighter scare cone and a larger scare cooldown. Finally, the fifth class is the Poltergeist. Its variants are Zappy, Masher, and Toxie. Their special attributes are passively shocks busters in close proximity, much faster PKE generation inside electronic-based objects, although this does have a bug currently where this passive does not work, more effective proton pack sabotage, and increased trap and gadget damage. Their downsides are easier to tether and a greater pack sabotage cost and longer stun period. But who should I play first? In my opinion, I think that it should be the Ectoplast. Not only is it the first ghost type that you get, it's also the most beginner friendly. Their attributes help you with fights because they escape tethers easier. So the little mini game that you have to do whenever you get caught by a Ghostbuster's little laser beam. And they're also pretty good overall, not even counting their abilities, which are also, in my opinion, some of the best in the game. I recommend either Slimer or Winky. Both of these characters accentuate the fun aspects of the game because they focus more on 1v1. Although Slimer requires more aim with some practice, you can get this ability down quite effectively. Check out my Slimer guide coming soon, probably in a few weeks. On the other hand, Winky can not only slime multiple busters, but he can also slow people coming into his slime puddle, which may work as area denial. The most efficient playstyle. Well, while fighting busters is the most fun playstyle, I mean, who doesn't like to bully people? I honestly think that the best way to play is to stay as far away from the groups of busters as possible. There's one buster, or even two, you can tell that their skill is low. You can attack them. The only reason to engage with more than two busters is if you have your ultimate. Watch out for their stun beams, as they can chain stun you for an easy tether and capture. If you were to find yourself in a fight with a buster, there are a few things you should be doing. Possession hopping. Go to settings and bind your possession key to tap. It's originally on hold. This allows you to very quickly move from item to item, not only granting you extremely fast mobility, but an additional health pool that the busters have to destroy before they can get you out of the item. But if you possess a new one, you get a brand new health pool. It's important to note that this allows you to escape some very tricky situations. Also, different items have different speed, hitboxes, and health. In my opinion, you should try to tunnel a buster and later worry about the other busters. The best way to quickly down a buster is the following combo: scare, dash through the buster, and scare again. This will most likely down them. If not, just dash through them again, and I believe that should be enough to down a buster's any ghost type. The dash not only protects you from getting tethered, the buster's body acts as a meat shield. It also messes up the aim and sight of the slimed buster. The final thing you should be doing is playing around corners and different objects that let you break line of sight. Because if you're tethered and the buster's line gets broken, even for a second, you will be free. Probably the most important thing to know about is energy management. Energy is a ghost's bread and butter because it gives you access to all your abilities, so it's important to know how to manage properly. First, you have to know that standing still while in an object doubles the amount of energy you get while possessing. You can see that on the bottom left. You can also generate energy passively as a ghost without possessing an object, but it's not quick enough to be useful. The thing that takes away the most energy is running. So, the most energy efficient way to get around the map is possessing an item and then just using your non-existent legs to get around the map. But if you need to urgently get somewhere, floating and running is way faster. And then you just possess an item to get your energy back to prepare for the engagement with the busters. How to fight busters. When you inevitably face a Ghostbuster, the most efficient way to down them is with the following combo: scare, dash, and scare. I've already told you guys this, but I felt like this needed another section. Although, if you're facing more than one buster, try not to go lower than 75% of your health bar, because the less energy you have, the higher chances of them tethering you are. Also, try to bait out their stuns, because once they use it, they have a lengthy cooldown before they can be used again. How to win endgame. Once you make it to endgame, you have no more lives, so try not to even be in the same room as busters because they can steal the win from you right under your nose. The best thing to do is be near a ton of objects so you can possess them and regain energy, and be harder to tether. An important tip is for each scared civ during the endgame, you get 5 seconds off the timer. So if you're sure that no Ghostbusters will interrupt you, take the liberty to scare a civ or two. I hope this guide has been helpful, and I will enjoy making many more.